What is going on, everybody? Thanks for clicking on this video. So if you have bought a Helium Miner or you are thinking about buying a Helium Miner, you need to watch this video. In this video, I'm going to be going over different antenna placements for your Helium Miner and different antenna types. I'm going to be testing the stock 2.3 dBi antenna that comes with most of these Helium Miners against a 3 dBi antenna from Rack Wireless against a 5.8 dBi antenna also from Rack Wireless. So in this video, I'm going to show you guys just how simply changing your antenna type and changing the location of where your antenna is can significantly increase your helium mining gains. So if you have a helium miner or you're going to buy one, watch this video, because at the end of this video, I'm going to be going over how each antenna changed how much helium I was making, and the results are going to surprise you. So let's get into it. So my current mining setup is really pretty simple. I have my hotspot miner right here, my little sense cap, and I have just the stock antenna that it came with. I believe the stock antenna that most of these miners ship with is I want to say 2.6 or 2.4, maybe even 2.8 dBi antenna. Don't get me wrong, these are good depending on your location. But yeah, I think they all come with this stock antenna, the 2.6, besides the Bobcat miner, I believe, comes with a 4.6 or 4.8 or 4.3. Someone fact check me on that down in the comments below. So yeah, that is my current mining setup, just this stock antenna, and I keep it right here in my windowsill of my office, just facing out my window. But this is not the best setup, and we are really trying to figure out how do we maximize our H&T gains. Now, the general rule of thumb is you want to have a good line of sight, because that's really what this all comes down to. Whatever your antenna can see is what you're going to make, right? So the less things that this little thing has to shoot through, like walls, windows, houses, hills, dirt, whatever it is, right? The less things that this has to get through, the better you are going to do and the more H&T you're going to earn per day. So the general rule of thumb is get this thing as high as you can. You don't necessarily have to get your miner all the way up as high as you can, but they do recommend you do get your miner pretty close to your actual antenna, because the further these two are apart, right, if you have like a cable in between these, the more loss you're going to have, the more dBi loss will happen. You'll have a lot of gain loss the longer your cable gets. Now, a few feet's not going to kill you, but probably longer than 10 feet, you're probably going to start to significantly see lower gains. So the general rule of thumb, like I was saying, get as high as you can on a roof if possible, on top of a building if possible, or if you can't do that, get to an attic. If you can't get into an attic, get to a windowsill, just like I have right here. Now, fortunately for me, I can actually get into my attic, so that is where I am going to place this antenna, and I'm actually just going to put the whole miner up there, and I'm just going to temporarily do it. You'll see in a second with an extension cord. I'm going to run a little Wi-Fi hotspot up there, plug this all into an extension cord, and kind of just have the extension cord running up into my attic. It's not going to look super pretty, but just to test it for a few days to see if it actually is doing better up there. Because if it is doing better up there, I'll just throw a quick outlet up there. Now, the reason I'm not going to get this up onto the roof is because I am renting. I'm renting this place that I'm at right now, this townhouse, and to be honest, I'm sure my landlord would not like me drilling holes into his roof or mounting things on his roof. So let's talk about why I am not keeping this in my window. Well, here's actually a quick shot of my windowsill right now and kind of where it is in the line of sight I have. As you can see, I have all these townhouses around me, clearly blocking my line of sight for my antenna. So I want to get up higher. I want to make more money mining H&T. So I'm going to put this up into my attic. Now I have this 2.6 or 2.8, whatever dBi antenna this is. And I also have this 5.8 dBi antenna. And just look at the size difference here. Here is the stock antenna, and here is that 5.8 antenna. This thing is huge, right? It's a way bigger antenna and a much higher range, meaning that I'll be able to shoot way further out, which will be a lot more helpful when this is up higher, like in my attic. So I'm not sure which is going to perform better, this stock antenna right here or this one. And that's what we're here to figure out, so you can know for yourself. And if you have a situation kind of ideal to mine where you're surrounded by a few houses, townhouses, maybe a few a little bit higher than you, and kind of a little bit of a hilly terrain, which antenna might be better for you. So I'm going to test that all for you in this video. So my testing theory here is I'm going to test the stock antenna up there for probably 3 or so days, let that just go by itself. Then I'm probably going to test this 5.8 dBi antenna up in my attic. As you see, I'm just going to mount them temporarily with a command strip. Just Velcro them. I'll probably put 2 more on here because I don't want this, falling in my attic in the middle of the night, making me think there's a strange man or a monster in my attic. So yeah, I'm going to probably just Velcro stick these to some wood up there for the time being. And then, I could go back and mount them with some quick C-clamps or something. So, yeah, I'll test this one for 3 or so days. I'll test this bigger one for 3 or so days. And I also have one more antenna coming. I believe it's a 3.8 dBi antenna. Should be here in just a few days. I'm really excited to test that one as well and kind of see which out of those 3 is going to be the better antenna. Now, for me, in my situation, anything over 5.8 dBi is not going to help me at all because I'm kind of in a hilly terrain. So anything that's flatter than that 5.8 dBi, I'm just going to lose out on a lot of witnesses. Now let's go ahead and jump to the part where I've already installed this thing. It's up in my attic. And just word of caution, wear a respirator, some eyeglasses, probably some long sleeves if you're going into your attic because many attics are filled with fiberglass insulation. Or most likely, if it's not fiberglass, there's probably some kind of irritable, insulation up there that if it gets on your skin, it's going to hurt. Trust me, fiberglass on your skin, been there, done that way too many times at this point in my life. And it hurts really bad. It's so itchy. We're not going to go into all that right now though. But anyway, so yeah, let's jump to the part where I have it installed, and then we'll come back in a few days, and we'll see the results after 3 days of this antenna up here, 3 days of this stock antenna, and we'll see what happens. So let's get to it. So as you can see, my extension cord runs up from my bathroom, runs up here to this little block right here. That way I can have both my Wi-Fi and my hotspot plugged in. So here's my Wi-Fi right here. This is just an extender because it runs way faster if you have it plugged directly into Ethernet. So that's why I got that going right now. So I got the Ethernet going right over here, and I've got the power for that going also right over there. And as you can see, I have the antenna cord running up to the actual antenna, which is actually just command stripped, believe it or not, to that wood up there. Now, I know that's probably not the best way to do it. I am very aware, and I am going to change it to make it a much more secure way. Probably with just some little C-clamp brackets that kind of suction it up to the wood. Or not, suction, but, just screw it up to the wood to make sure that it doesn't ever fall off. But until then, I'm just going to stick with the command strips. They have not failed me yet, even with the big antenna. So, actually, I forgot I didn't even show you guys the different antenna sizes. So, let me show you that really quick, then we'll hop back down to the studio and talk about which antenna actually performed better. Alright, so here is that comparison I was promising you guys. So, check this out. This is that stock antenna right here, right? Pretty small, not too big. It's about the size of my hand, and yeah, I'm still wearing gloves. Sorry, I am going back up in the attic. So I got this right here. It's about the size of my hand, the stock antenna. I believe this is a 2.3 dBi. Then right here we have the 3 dBi from Rack Wireless. This one's significantly bigger than the stock antenna, right? I mean, that's a pretty good size upgrade and much, much thicker as well. So you got that one, and right here is the big boy, and they make even bigger ones than this. This is the 5.8 dBi in this nice kind of sleek matte black look here. Same exact thickness as the white one right here on the ground, but that is the size difference right there. So, I mean, look at the stock antenna versus this 5.8 dBi, and even this 5.8 dBi against this 3 dBi one. I mean, it makes this 3 dBi one look absolutely tiny compared to it. But other than that, guys, like this is honestly not heavy. I mean, really, it's like only maybe a pound, maybe even less than 2 or 3 pounds. Very, very light because it's just fiberglass. But enough of this. Let's go down to the studio and start talking about which one performed the best. Alright, so let's go ahead and start diving into these results. It's kind of surprising actually what happened. So if we look here, I started the test with a stock 2.3 dBi antenna up in the attic. So on Saturday, October 23rd, it mined 0.36 helium. Then on Sunday, October 24th, it did 0.4 helium. Then on Monday, it did 0.47 helium. That brings that to a total of 1.23 helium for the stock 2.3 antenna. Not too bad, but also not great. I definitely wanted a lot more. That only equals out to a few dollars a day. So then let's go here. On Tuesday, October 26th, this is now with the 5.8 dBi antenna in the attic. The 5.8 dBi antenna on Tuesday, October 26th, we did 0.5 HNT. Then on Wednesday, October 27th, we did 0.67 HNT. Then on the 28th, we did 0.76 HNT. That brings the 5.8 dBi testing to 1.93 helium, almost double that of the stock antenna. Definitely a huge difference. Now, this is where things got a little bit interesting, actually. The 3 dBi antenna did a lot worse than the 5.8 dBi antenna, and even worse than the stock antenna, which was the weirdest thing for me. So on Friday, when I started with the 3 dBi antenna, it did 0.42 helium, and then on Saturday, it did 0.35, and then on Sunday, it did 0.23, bringing that to a total of 1 helium total, meaning that the stock 2.3 dBi antenna actually outperformed the 3 dBi antenna. So the clear winner here was that 5.8 dBi antenna. Now let's quickly go over my discovery mode results as well, so we can see what the difference was that my hotspot miner was able to see with these different antennas. So first up, with the stock antenna, when I ran a discovery mode, my Helium miner was able to discover 134 other hotspots. Honestly, not bad at all. That was definitely a huge uptick, because in my office window, it was only able to discover 44 other hotspots, meaning I was only making like a few cents to like $1 or $3 a day, but up there in the attic, it was able to see like 4 times the amount of hotspots. That's with just the stock antenna, how much of a difference that can make. Now moving on to the 5.8 dBi antenna, in discovery mode, it was able to discover 243 other hotspots, which is a even bigger jump from the step before, and just a huge leap compared to the 44 hotspots I could discover in my office window. Now 243 with the 5.8 dBi antenna was nearly double what the 2.3 stock antenna could discover, which goes to reason why those rewards were almost doubled, right? It was around 1.2 with the stock antenna helium, and then with the 5.8 dBi antenna, we earned nearly 2 helium, right? So that kind of goes to reason why that kind of makes sense right there. Then with the 3 dBi antenna in discovery mode, we were able to discover 132 other hotspots, which is actually less than that stock antenna that could do 144 other hotspots I could see. So makes sense, right? Why we earned actually less. Somehow, I don't know why, I would think that the 3 dBi antenna would actually do better than the 2.3 antenna, reasoning that the 5.8 dBi antenna did so much better as well. Definitely interesting results. I was definitely expecting the 2.3 stock antenna at worst place, obviously the 3 dBi in the middle, and the 5.8 dBi at the top, which it was. But that stock antenna and the 3 dBi antenna definitely swapped places. So what does this even all mean, right? So really when it comes down to it, guys, it's all about line of sight. I've stressed this in previous videos. I will continue to say it every video I make about helium mining, because it comes down to line of sight. Whatever you can see when you look around wherever your antenna is, that's what your antenna can also see. And let me talk about this one more time as well. Just because it's a higher dBi does not mean that's going to work better for you. It just really depends on your situation. If you just go buy a 10 dBi antenna just because you think it's a higher number, it's going to be stronger, that's not really how that works, right? Because we just saw that the 2.3 antenna outperformed the 3 dBi antenna for some odd reason, not really sure why. And then with that 5.8 dBi antenna was the clear winner. I was able to get this up into my attic, which as you can see nearly quadrupled the amount of money I was making. I went from making around $3 a day to now I'm making around $15 to $20 a day, on a really good day around $20 a day. That is a huge jump by doing a simple upgrade and just moving it up a few feet more, a few more meters up in the air, up into the attic. So if you have a helium miner, or you bought a helium miner, you're just waiting for it to come, definitely keep these things in mind. Antenna placement is going to affect your earnings the most. Even if you are in an already crowded area, simply placing your antenna higher up or with a better line of sight, you're going to drastically impact the money you are making. I mean, just take me for example. In my office window, you saw my line of sight. It was not great. There was townhouses around me. It's kind of a hilly terrain, right? Definitely making my line of sight a lot harder to kind of get around all that stuff. So literally just moving it a few feet higher up into my attic, you saw what it did, right? I went from making it $3 a day up to $15 to $20 a day. Huge difference. So antenna placement is your biggest thing you have to worry about. Next, you can worry about your antenna type, because just moving from my office window to my attic with a stock antenna was still a pretty significant increase. So if that's good for you, then great. Don't worry about another antenna. But if you want to try and potentially increase your earnings, definitely look into some different antenna options depending on your area. If you live in an area like me, something like a 5.8 dBi antenna might be a really good option. Or if you live in a really flat terrain, like you're out in the Midwest, all the houses are kind of just level and everything, you don't have hills or whatever, a higher dBi antenna like 8 or something might be perfect for you. Just do what I did, right? Get a few different antenna types, get maybe 2 other different antennas along with your stock antenna, and just test it. See what works best. And that's all there is for this video, you guys. So thanks for watching, and if you made it this far, thanks for pardoning my voice because I am just getting over a cold, so my voice sounds a little bit off, but I wanted to get this video out for you guys because I know a lot of you have ordered these hotspot miners, and I know they're coming in the mail right now, or they've already showed up, and you're just trying to figure out which antenna you need to get so you can start making the best money. Make sure you subscribe, stay tuned for more videos as I update you over the upcoming weeks about how much my Helium miner is now currently making. Let me know down in the comments, what other crypto projects do you want to see me work on? Should I dump my whole life savings into some Doge or some Shiba coin? Why not at this point, right? Just let me know what you want to see down below. Now, I don't want to say too much, but I may also be in the works of cooking up a little NFT project crypto video, so stay tuned for that, guys. It's going to be a good one. I've said too much already, so thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, and just like that, I'll see you on the next one.